Hey everyone, this is Trucker Wayne with Driver Solutions. How is everyone today? So we got recently had a great question on YouTube, and I think it's about time we answer. Who are you, Trucker Wayne? Who do you think you are coming on here and giving us all this advice? Who are you, Trucker Wayne? You know what? I'm gonna answer that. Who is Trucker Wayne? So I'm gonna bore you a little bit about my personal life, all right? Just a little bit, if you're wondering who I am, how I got into the business, where I've come from, how far I've come in trucking, that kind of stuff. Well, I, as a young man, joined the Navy, served from 89 to 93 on the USS Carl Vinson. You may have heard that ship. I'm very proud to have come from that ship. They have done a lot in the world, so I'm excited that I am a veteran and an alumni from the USS Carl Vinson. I could not be happier. Secondly, I served during the first Persian Gulf War, not in theater. That's very important. Our ship, the Carl Vinson, was the last one over there. Came back, we parked it in near San Fran in Alameda, and he invaded Kuwait. I never saw any action, but I was in during that span, right? So I spent 4 years there and ended up getting out of the Navy. A lot of times, I have some friends that stayed in and retired. I wish I would have stayed in. It's funny because being in the Navy the first 4 years is a lot like trucking in the first year. You do the first 4 years, that's the hardest part. And then I leave, and a lot of my friends are retired now and stayed in, and I did the hardest part, 4 years learning, making ranking. But I got out. And then after that, I met a beautiful lady, and we ended up getting married. And it was very, very nice because I met her. We moved to Seattle. And when we got married, she was pregnant with my first son. And we ended up moving back to Michigan, right? Well, when we moved back to Michigan, I got a job with Chrysler, Daimler Chrysler, back to Chrysler. Now it's Fiat, but all that stuff. The Daimler Chrysler was when I was there. Worked almost 12 years on the line for Chrysler. So that was interesting. I knew after that many years, and then almost 12 years on the line, I knew that I did not want to do that for 30. The toughest job I ever had. Kudos to everyone out there that works on that line. That is some hard work. It's really tough work. But I knew after 12 years that I did not want to do that for the rest of my career. I ended up, unfortunately, getting a divorce, and I left Daimler Chrysler, right? And then I got into hospitality management. That, my friends, was fun. For almost 7 years, almost exclusively on the West Coast, worked for some of the most exclusive resorts and hotels, and it was pretty incredible. Spent 7 years in that business, right? As a director, as an executive manager, an owner relations manager, and stuff like that. The economy crashed, and I decided after working on an island for a couple years that I just wanted to make a change, right? And I was getting into photography. A great friend of mine from the Navy worked for a trucking company. He was a director of the trucking company down in Missouri, in Springfield, Missouri. And he's like, Wayne, you, and at that point, I was trying to do some photography, and I was struggling, and I got out of the management side of it, right? And I wanted to do photography, and it just wasn't making ends meet, right? And he said, Wayne, you got to get into trucking. You can make great money, and your photography could take off, and it would just be awesome. You can make money, travel, keep doing the photography. And boy, was he right. He was seriously right. So what I did was went down to Springfield, worked with Driver Solutions, of course, and started at C1 Springfield, and I ended up doing the trucking thing, and I've been doing it now for 5 years coming up. In August, I showed up like a week ago, or I think it was August 18th, I showed up at C1 Springfield. So yeah, that's me in a short amount of time. I don't want this video to go too long, but that's Trucker Wayne, and I'm old, so I got a lot of history, we can talk about with the jobs. But yeah, it's been a fun journey for me. When we do these videos and you guys get to see another side of me, it's just important that you know that I'm not full of it. Ton of management experience, and when I left and wanted to do my photos, hey, you show me a successful person that tried to do something and start their own business. If you haven't failed, you haven't tried. So that's what I always keep in the back of my head too, because I don't know if you know, but I have a Wayne Craig photography page, and that's really just exploded. I have the Trucker Wayne page, and that's Trucker Wayne, right? That's who I am, and that's why every day I hop in the truck and I head out, I'm happy, super happy, because I get to do what I love to do. I've learned to love trucking. The first year was pretty tough. Wasn't sure, like all of us. It's like, man, this is tough. But man, once I got past the first year, you start making choices and doing things that you love to do. And I go from coast to coast and Texas to Canada, and I couldn't be happier. So that's Trucker Wayne. You get to meet Trucker Wayne. Give me a shout out if you have any more questions about me in particular. So I won't get too personal. So, but yeah, shout out to questions. This is Trucker Wayne with Driver Solutions, with the positive path to trucking success. And I'm out.